All right. So, congratulations. We're in our second week of Espanol, and we're going to review general concepts. But I want to encourage you to go back on the YouTube video and revisit the greetings, such as Hola, ¿cómo estás? De nada, gracias, por favor. And revisit those because we're going to have an assessment that will relate to what we learned last week as comparative to what we're learning now. So it's very important that we build that foundation of Spanish so that we can become fluent in the language. So I want to welcome you. This is Vocabulary Building 2. And so let's go ahead and get ready to be ready to pronounce and learn these words in English and Spanish. All right, so you can think of these questions as different questions that you would ask someone when you first meet the individual. And when we speak about informal, this is the type of question that you would ask when you're speaking to a friend, a family member, or a child. All right, so let's look at what's your name. This is informal. Say that you're just speaking to a friend, family member, or child. You'll say, ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Now, when you're in a more professional setting, if you're speaking to someone who's an adult or someone in the position of power, this is formal. And you would say, ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? And I want you to get into the habit of learning how to speak the language. And then as we spiral back, we're going to learn how to properly spell and put these words together because we're going to learn about different ways in which we should write these words depending on who we're speaking to and things of that nature. All right. So what's your name? Informal, if we're speaking to a friend, family member, ¿Cómo te llamas? If we're speaking to, say, a professor or someone in a position or in a formal setting, business, ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? All right. Now, with this particular segment, I want you to visualize that you're at your home or you're on the mall. All right. This is an informal question with an informal answer. Remember, we spoke about informal and formal. Well, we're going to learn the informal first because we're just now learning Spanish. And so, for instance, we're at the mall and you see a friend and a friend has a friend and you want to meet this friend and you say, ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Remember, that is what is your name. And you're going to say, Me llamo Alfreda. Me llamo Alfreda. All right, so we're reverting back. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Alfreda. All right, so this next statement is a statement that occurs after a conversation. And so I'm going to utilize some of the vocabulary that we've already learned. Now, it may be the same thing, but you will get the concept because as we are going through this course, we're going to implement and begin speaking conversationally, but we're going to do it in a way that we store these things in our long-term memory. Okay, so we're at the mall, all right, and we're going to go through this process. And we're going to end with it's a pleasure, which is mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. All right. Hola. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. ¿Cómo te llama? Me llama Alfreda. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Now, because we've learned and because I've only taught those aspects, I didn't give you or provide you with the sentence of nice to meet you. And I would have said mucho gusto. I gave you what we've already learned. All right, so we're going to learn nice to meet you. That is in our other segment, but I want to make sure that we are implementing what we've already learned. Okay. All right, so we're still focusing on our words and our vocabulary, but just to put in the back of your mind, because we're going to spiral back after we learn these words and we're going to really focus on our grammar. But I want you to feast your eyes on these two words, encantado and encantará. Now, these words both mean pleased to meet you, but the difference is when we say encantado with an O, this masculine. Encantará is feminine. So if you're speaking to a gentleman, encantado. If you're speaking to a lady, encantará. Okay, that's just part of the grammar, and those are grammar rules that we're going to review once we spiral back. So we're at the mall, and we meet this gentleman, and so here it is. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Juan. Encantado. Encantado. The reason why I used encantado is because I was speaking to Juan. Juan is a male. Now, I'm at the mall and I'm speaking to a female. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Alfreda. Encantada. Encantada. I use the A because I'm speaking to a female. Okay? So we will learn those aspects, those grammar aspects, once we learn the vocabulary. All right, so this next word in Espanol is te presento a. Te presento a. Let me introduce you to. Now, I'm just going to go through what we've learned, okay? And I'm going to use this word, all right? ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Alfreda. Te presento a Juan. Te presento a Juan. Te presento a Juan. Let me introduce you to Juan. All right, so we've learned that de nada means you're welcome, right? And gracias is thank you. Well, this is welcome. Bienvenido. Bienvenida. Remember, the O is masculine, the A is feminine. So, ¿cómo te llamas? Me llamo Alfreda. Gracias. Bienvenida. Bienvenida. Welcome. And the reason why I said that is because feminine, Alfreda is feminine. Here we go. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Alfred. Bienvenido. Bienvenido. Because Alfred is masculine. When you look at Alfred and Alfreda, right, the A is feminine, right? Or you can say Alfredo and the O is masculine. Same thing with Espanol. All right, so with this word, we're just going to practice the meaning, which is I'm sorry. Lo siento. Lo siento. All right, so this next term is excuse me. This is informal. If you're speaking to a friend or outside of a business, you would say, perdóname. Perdóname. Excuse me. Perdóname. Excuse me. All right, so this next particular vocabulary word means do you speak English? Hablas inglés. Hablas inglés. Hablas inglés. So, ¿cómo te llamas? Me llamo Alfreda. Hablas inglés. Poquito. Poquita. A little bit. All right, but we haven't gotten to that part. I'm just adding in some words that is coming back to me from Espanol. All right. All right, so this next word is may I please? Me permite. Me permite. May I please? And so as we're learning these words, then we will put these words with different vocabulary. So I want you to study these slides. I took out some of the formal because we're learning and we haven't reviewed the grammar, but once we learn the words, then we can learn the grammar because it's very important to understand how to spell the words as well as when to use the masculine, the feminine, and we're going to get into those sentences. So I want you to study. We're going to be on this particular segment for at least 2 weeks. And the reason being is because we need to understand formal and informal. I will also add some notes about informal and formal grammar because I want us to be ahead. But your main focus right now is understanding the word and what it means. Okay. Thank you so much. And if you want to connect with me, my email is emonya_love@yahoo.com. And you did a great job last week on the quiz and being able to differentiate between the different words and meanings. The spelling was correct. So we're moving along. And so we're on our second week of Espanol. And hopefully by our fourth week, and the reason why I say fourth is because we're spending 2 weeks on this particular segment. By our fourth week, we will be able to utilize at least simple sentences in the business setting. Thank you.